Hello, and welcome to Rising Phoenix, where you can find information, tools, and hope for everyday mental health struggles. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to be talking a bit about trauma, what it is, and what you can do about it. So, what is trauma? The American Psychological Association defines trauma as an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Based on that, it sounds like trauma is only the result of extreme events. This would seem pretty straightforward. However, the definition of trauma is not that simple. In recent years, psychological and neurological researchers have come to understand a lot more about trauma and how common and destructive it can be. We now know that trauma doesn't have to come from one big, terrible event, but it could result from many smaller but still painful events. For example, the experience of being picked last for the team at recess each day for years can become a traumatic experience that affects the person equally or even more than someone that experiences, say, a traumatic car accident. I once heard someone put it in terms of money. Big traumas like combat, natural disasters, accidents, rape, etc. constitute a dollar bill. Smaller traumas, like the one described earlier, among many others, constitute small change, pennies, nickels, dimes. Alone, these aren't as large as dollar bills. However, they add up and can easily be worth as much or more than $1. Pia Mellody, known as a preeminent authority on addiction and relationships, who has also written extensively about trauma, defines trauma as any behavior exacted on us that is less than nurturing. This definition strikes me as a bit broad, but I think it is closer to the truth. The reality is that trauma doesn't just come from extreme events. It also comes from the small things we experience that hurt us in big ways, especially when those events are repeated. Now, you may also be wondering what the effects of trauma are on a person. This, again, is not a simple answer. In the past, the field of psychology had a very narrow view of what trauma was and what the symptoms were. For a long time now, we've had the diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, which helps to define some of the symptoms that can result from trauma. Recurring thoughts, dreams, or nightmares, dissociation, avoidance of thoughts, memories, people, places, etc., and changes in mood and thought and behavior. This list represents some broad categories. You can find a link in the description for more details on the symptoms and diagnostic criteria for PTSD. The diagnosis of PTSD has been a helpful diagnosis for many people struggling with the effects of trauma. However, thanks to the efforts of people like Pia Mellody and Bessel van der Kolk, among others, we now know that other mental health diagnoses may be the result of trauma as well. Addictions, anxiety disorders, depression, dissociative disorders, all can have their roots in trauma. So, if you've been dealing with a diagnosis like one of these, or even if you don't have a diagnosis but you know you experience anxiety or depression, or some compulsive behavior, like you can't stop smoking or vaping, you might want to talk with an expert about whether trauma is affecting you, especially childhood trauma. Okay, now let's talk about what to do about trauma. First off, I recommend picking up a book to learn more. Bessel van der Kolk's book, The Body Keeps the Score, is one of the best books out there on the subject. Next, you should know that there are a lot of treatments for trauma. Some of the most effective are EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, brain spotting, neurofeedback, and accelerated resolution therapy, or ART. Look in the description for tools that can help you find someone specializing in these treatments today. Getting professional help is one of the most important things you can do to help with trauma. Some other tools that can be helpful are journaling and self-reflection to help you identify trauma reactions in your daily life. Breathing, mindfulness, and meditation can help manage anxiety and other trauma reactions in the moment. I'll put some links in the description for helpful tools and resources for all of this. Everyone experiences some form of trauma in their life, and people can react very differently depending on many factors. If you find that trauma, whether recent or long in the past, is affecting you negatively, it's okay and it's normal. Your brain is just trying to protect you from getting hurt again, just in a way that's no longer very helpful for you. It's okay to ask for help. This has been a bit of a longer video, so thanks for tuning in and staying until the end. I plan on making more videos about tools and resources to help with trauma. If this video was helpful, please take a moment to like the video, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Also, feel free to drop a note in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, tell me. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, you're not alone, and you are loved. And as Christopher Robin says, you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Take care.